Yeah, man. We in here. Claim your inheritance. Okay. So, man, listen here, man. Today, we're going to give you the top 10 reasons why you can't find most women. I learned a lot in this little study. It was some women can't find a good man, a real man, or a husband. But then when I did my research, come to find out, it is 93% of women can't find a husband. Give you the top 10 reasons why. Okay. You just watch this. Alrighty. Let's find out if we're sharing this information for you. Yep, we sure are. So you take a look here, and it says the National Center for Health Statistics. This is at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which is just a code for disease protocol. Who to give diseases to and who and stuff like that. This is the National Center for Health Statistics, Fast Stats homepage, marriage and divorce. This is data only for the United States. The number of marriages is 2,140,272 out of the 49 states that reported, and DC. And the marriage rate is 6.9 per 1,000 total population. That might even be less than 7%. That's something like 0.7%. Good Lord. Marriage rate 6.9 per 1,000 total population. Look at that. That is 0.7% of people getting married within a year. That doesn't make any sense. The number of divorces out of the 2 million is 813,862 out of 49 reporting states. So the divorce rate is 3.2 per 1,000. So that's 0.32%. Wow. And here are the top 10 reasons why this marriage rate is so low and divorce is close to 50% of the marriage rate. Number 10, okay? You're a clown. Okay? You women, some of you women, right, have to laugh 24 hours a day. That's a problem. Understand? That's a real big problem. You are addicted to laughing. There's a diagnosis for that. You'd like to hear it? Here it goes. Addicted to laughing. Okay. See what that is. Uh-huh. Uncontrollable. Let me see. Let's call it uncontrollable laughing. Okay. You got the pseudo-Bulber effect. Pseudo-Bulber effect, or emotional incontinence, is a type of emotional disturbance characterized by uncontrollable episodes of crying and or laughing or other emotional displays. PBA occurs secondary to a neurologic disorder or brain injury. Wow. I think maybe you've been dropped on your head when you were a baby. And now you got pseudo-bulbar effect, ma'am. You need to quit it. Number 9, you are extraordinarily stupid. Okay? Dumb. Okay? There are 3 types of intelligences. There's IQ, which is emotional intelligence quotient. Okay? An intelligence quotient is a total score derived from several standardized tests designed to assess human intelligence. The abbreviation IQ was coined by the psychologist William Stern for the German term intelligence quotient. His term for a scoring method for intelligence tests at University of Breslau he advocated. Okay? So you also have emotional quotient. Okay, so I don't know who coined that, but the level of a person's emotional intelligence. Okay, so this is a different form of intelligence. You get it? Okay, often as represented by a score on a standardized test. So you can test for this as well. Okay, emotional intelligence, also known as emotional quotient, is the compatibility of individuals to recognize their own emotions and those of others, discern between different feelings, and label them appropriately. So you can distinguish your feelings and label them appropriately. Use emotional information to guide thinking and behavior, and manage and or adjust emotions to adapt to environments or achieve one's goals. Okay. Although the term first appeared in a 1964 paper by Michael Beldosh, it gained popularity in a 1995 book by that title, written by the author and science journalist Daniel Goleman. Since this time, Goleman's 1995 analysis of emotional intelligence has been criticized within the scientific community, despite prolific reports of its usefulness in the popular press. So, someone else made this extremely popular as well, which was Oprah. She was, trying to describe her sensitivity and came across this term and mentioned it on her show, and everyone became aware of emotional intelligence, which is a different form of intelligence from intelligence quotient, which is intelligence quotient is mainly book smarts and how to apply that, okay, and how to recognize book smarts in your daily life. Emotional quotient is exactly what it says. Utilizing your intelligence, being able to determine what your intelligence, how to label your emotion, and how to appropriately use it and adapt to varying situations in order to achieve your goals. So you don't have the ability to do that. You just go out all out of control. You can't control your emotions. You don't know when you're angry. You don't know how to label your emotions in a conversation. You say, I'm not mad at all. This makes you stupid, okay? So now the third form of intelligence is wisdom quotient. Okay, so I coined this term, and I can't imagine anybody writing anything about it, but it looks like there is someone here who has. All right, great. That takes all the work out of it for me to explain what it is. So, wisdom quotient, a wisdom IQ test, all right, all right, is, oh, they're not going to give me the definition, huh? Well, wisdom quotient, as I define it, is your ability to have a standard of preset reactions to any situation. Okay, so any situation pops up, you have a preset reaction to it, to where you can not be surprised, you not get caught off guard. You know, situations happen daily, multiple times a day. So you have a preset reaction to it and how to solve that particular issue. That means being prepared with answers to people's objections. That means knowing how to recognize any form of threat that will harm your income or your property or your emotional happiness, you know, and things of that nature. So you got all of these things in your mind already. That's what a wisdom quotient is. So you develop that by listening to the Bible. That's how you develop it. Let's see what the New York Times has to say about it. It has a very interesting article that tries to define wisdom and provides insights on how to cultivate wisdom. You'll read that Monica R. Delt developed a wisdom scorecard that might answer your wisdom quotient question. Though by definition, a quotient should be ratio between two quantities. Okay, so I don't know when they wrote this, but I've been talking about it for years. So that's good that they're finally deciding to look into these things. All right, let's see what she has to say about this. The Germans were among the first to reach what is now a widespread conclusion. There's not a lot of wisdom around. Of the 700 people assessed, we never found a single person who gained top scores across the board, Smith wrote in an email message. They also punctured one conceit about growing old when they found no evidence in 4 different studies that wisdom, as they defined it, necessarily increases with age. Rather, they identified a plateau of wisdom-related performance through much of middle and old age. A separate study by the group has indicated that wisdom begins, on average, to diminish around age 75, probably hand in hand with cognitive decline. So this, it's a new study for them. And of course, the Bible has been studying wisdom since the beginning of human existence. And so I trust them, and they clearly comprehend what's going on, whereas you don't, which makes you extraordinarily stupid. Okay. Number 8, your looks. Okay. You don't mind being fat. Okay. This don't bother you, and everybody around you say you're beautiful. You're a big, beautiful woman. You're big and bold and beautiful. You are just lovely just the way you are, just the way God made you. Well, God made you a tiny little baby. You wasn't a fat 300-pound woman, grown woman, when you came out your mama's pussy. Okay. So let's look up the poster child for fatness, Miss Monique. Okay, I'm not gonna play the video because they might give me another copyright strike, and I don't like copyright strikes. Okay, so now we're gonna take a look at Miss Monique in one of these pictures here, and you're gonna get through your thick fat skull that you shouldn't enjoy being fat. So now You got Miss Monique, used to be fat. She used to be fat. Okay. You see? Used to be. But she works out regularly and is now no longer fat. Okay. There's a lot of stars that went through this transformation. And they should be rubbing off on you fat souls. But they don't, of course. Number 7. You're a prostitute. All right. That's why you can't find a good man. That's why you can't find a real man. And that's why you don't find a good husband. When you do find a good husband, they make sure to utilize you to the best of their ability and then discard you in the most gruesome way imaginable. Prostitution is possibly the most dangerous job on the face of the planet. Okay, it ranks up there pretty high. So you being a prostitute is not, and people finding out that you was a prostitute, and then because you dress all sophisticated, right? And go around somebody you never met before, you move to a whole new state because you gave up the life of prostitution, and you think men are stupid and don't know that you used to be a prostitute. They're pretty sensitive and smart about these things. That's how men know these kind of things. So a prostitute is a person, in particular a woman, who engages in sexual activity for payment. Payment could be anything, any form of gift, not just money. That includes an escort. That you people talking about, you're an escort. You're not a prostitute, you're an escort. You got to stop that madness. A synonym is a whore, a call girl, a hooker. You talking about you a call girl, you're not a prostitute. You better stop that madness, man. You're whores. That's the only way. If you've got to stop all these things in order to find you a good man and raise this marriage rate from 99.3% of nobody getting married to at least 10% of people in America getting married. Damn. Is that the best you can do? All right. So now, number 6, infidelity. You don't know what it is because you do it all the time and don't care. It doesn't bother you at all. Infidelity, the action or state of being unfaithful to a spouse or other sexual partner. So you got polyamorous love. You're a polyamorous whore, a free whore. You see? So you deal with adultery. Oh yeah, I gotta find me a married man. That way, if he ever acts up, I could just tell his wife and take all his money. Extramarital sex, disloyalty, you disloyal, bitch-made whores. Shoe program for all you niggas. Deceit, falseness, affair, liaison, fling. Listen, man. Fornication, hanky-panky. It's just a little bit of hanky-panky. You're a cheater, okay? You two-timing, cheating, fornicating, fling, liaison, polyamorous, disloyal bitch. Cuckoldry. That's crackers' number one way to be infidelity. You know what I'm saying? To deal with infidelity, because they love to bring a black stud to make their wife the ace of spade in sex magic. Okay? That's what they like to do. They will look far and wide in clubs and bars to find a black stud, a muscular black man that will fuck their wife in front of them and on video for no money. Or even get paid. It don't matter. You still a dummy. Number 5. You Okay, you are a complainer instead of a motivator. You ever heard that song? Let me be your motivation. Hey, oh, oh, oh. Let's make love till my legs shake. You ever heard that song? So that song right there tell you you need to be motivational, not a damn complainer. I can't tell you how many times in a job, right, where I'm the top salesperson in that job, in that whole facility. It might be 100, 200 people there. And I'm in the top 3 every week, every day, every month of selling products or selling insurance or selling anything. And there could be a clown that's number 50, don't rank ever, who complains in the facility and gets promoted to manager instantly. Complainers get results. They know this. So in a relationship, the result of complaining in a relationship, your man don't have nowhere to promote you to. Okay. Yeah, he might give you some more money, okay, for a time, you see, until he gets tired of you complaining. You complain too much. And then he's going to fire you. And you're going to say, but I did everything. I sucked his dick 5 times a day. I gave him as much sex as he wanted. You see? But you're complaining. Stop complaining. You got to be motivational. You understand? You don't know what motivation is because you complain too goddamn much. The reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. All right, that's fine, but that's not what I want. Motivation, no, that's what I want. Relating to the reason or reasons for acting or behaving in a particular way, designed to promote the desire or willingness to do or achieve something. A motivational speech. Okay, so when you are, the way to love a man and to get a man and to keep a man is to motivate them. That's your job. Your job is to make them feel like they can conquer the universe. Number 4, you independent women. Oh my God. Independent. Okay. You want a nigga with higher income. That's what you want. Higher income than you, or at least equal income. That's fair, right? You worked your whole life, got you a PhD. Now you make $200,000 a year. That's what you do. Worked your whole life. You went to school for 12 years. Then you went to college for 4 years to get your bachelor's. Then you went to college for 2 years to get your master's. That's another 6 years, 18 years. Then you went to college another 2 years for your PhD. That's 20 years. You've been in school for 20 years. Okay? 20 years. All right. You started school when you was 5. Okay. That makes sense. So now you 25 years old and you said, I'm not getting married until I get these goals out the way first. So now you got your PhD, you ain't never got married, or you know what I'm saying? You got 2 kids, by your slut bucketing that you did when you was young and wild or whatnot. Okay. That's another thing about you niggas, right? That's what you do. When you see a fuckable man in the club or at the bar or wherever the fuck you hang out at, the most people I see hang out at the mall. They go window shop at the mall to find a man. So now when they see somebody that is fuckable at the mall, guess what they do with the man that's fuckable? They fuck him. They have sex with the man in the mall, in the car, in the parking lot. at his place or at your place that day. Fuckable. That's a fuckable man. I've seen it over 25 million times. Okay. Now, when you see a man that has potential to be your long term, forever, your one and only, you make him wait 3 months before you have sex with him. Is there anything wrong with me, or is there something wrong with you? A fuckable dude that you know good and well that you're not going to be with for 10 years or 2 years or however long y'all get married now. You fuck him that same day or that same 5 minutes after you say hello to him. And then you discard him, throw him away. Why'd you do that? Because I know he's a player. So I just wanted to fuck him, so I did. But a nigga that you know for a fact is a good man, he got a good job, make just as much money as you, $200,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Don't have a whole bunch of babies. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he only got 2 babies like you. He's 27 years old. He's a little bit older than you. He's 4 inches taller than you, just a little bit taller than you. You know good and well he got potential to be a long-term person in your life that will break bread with you, lift you up in the air, spin you around, and do all that fancy stuff to you in the bedroom. You make him wait a minimum of 3 months to have sex with this guy. Your brain is working inside out, okay? Upside down, in and out. That's how it works. It's not firing on all syllables. You know what I'm saying? Cylinders, okay? Your car engine is stalling. You got a problem. You need to change that, okay? So you need to have, if you're gonna be a whore, right? If you just have to have sex with any fuckable dude that you see, turn down the fuckable dude that you know you're gonna discard, and have sex with the guy that you know is gonna stay there for that you want to be with for 20, 30 years. That's all you gotta do. But it's a lot of those guys out there that will just simply discard you because they know that we men know these things. I'm breaking the bro code by telling you parts of our secrets. We know that when you see a guy out in public that is in the fuckable category, okay, he's a top 10 fuckable dude, you know, that fits your criteria of beauty, and you want to have sex with this guy. We know that you will have sex with him in 5 seconds. We know this. We know that a nigga could look like Lil Wayne and give you $100, $500, $1,000, $2,000, or whatever, and have sex with you within the next 5 seconds. We know these things about you, ladies. Okay? So now, but you think we don't. So this is why you look at a man that you want to be with for 20 years and lie to him and tell him, no, I would never have sex for money. No, I would never have a one-night stand. We know you're a goddamn liar. Number 3, the LGBT community. Got to be more careful next time I say this. LGBT, okay, and queers and all that stuff. It's defined as lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered. And they even add a Q for queers. I don't even know what a queer is. And I'm not going to look it up. These people only attract sexual deviants. You don't know what sexual deviance is because you hate the Bible. Okay? So that's why you get played constantly. You don't even realize your fucking lifestyle is a psychosis. The psychological community took your psychosis, removed it from the psychotic book that describes your psychosis in order to make you feel good, because their whole goal is to cause as much sin on the earth as possible to hasten the return of hasten the destruction of the earth, which includes the return of Jesus Christ. Okay, so when Jesus Christ returns, it's going to be a culling, a great culling, where the whole earth is going to be cold. Okay, the people of the earth are going to die at the most phenomenal rate, equivalent to Noah's flood. Okay, and you don't know this, and so the powers that be, the principalities and powers in high places, know that this is what's going to happen. So their goal is to cause you to sin as much as you possibly can in order to hasten Jesus Christ's return. And you're all gonna die, every last one of you in that community. So I'm satisfied by that. Now, number 2, you got the most dominant male feeling, oh my God, disposition. Dominant definition. You women cannot be dominant over men. It's why would you want this? Here's the thing, right? You want to be the dominant person in your union. Okay. So now this attracts 2 different types of people: submissive males, and then the majority of you say, oh, he's too soft for me. A submissive male, he's a pussy to you. So therefore, you are mostly attracted to, 99% of you are attracted to men who are more dominant than you are. But you're dominant. You're already a man in your mind. So if you're a man in your mind and you want a superman, a super dominant guy, okay, now these super uber dominant males, right? What do they do to keep you in a relationship? Now, be honest. You can't tell me after the first year they stop being nice to you. They stop being nice to you and start punching you in your face. So now when you got a swollen eye, you get on the gram and tell everybody that this man truly loves me because he busted my eye. Look at my swollen eye. I might feel bad right now, but when I heal up, I'm still going to be fine. Okay? But this man has proven to me that he loves me because he put his hands on me whenever I was getting out of line. Well, you should not get out of line in the first place. You should know how to conduct yourself. You should be a wife, trained wife already. The only way you can do that is be taught the Bible from a baby. Any other way, you can't be a Christian from a baby and be a good wife. You can't be in any religion from a baby and be a good wife, because they don't teach you shit in the Christian church. They don't teach you shit in Islam. They don't teach you shit in any other religion about how to be a good wife. Okay? The only way you're going to find out how to be a good wife is from learning the text. A textbook teaches you how to be a good wife. That's the Bible, and that is some texts in the I'm not talking about the Kama Sutra, but it's another Indian text that teaches you how to be a good wife. All right, so in detail. So you got to learn these things. And number 1, interracial dating. This is the reason that you can't find a good man, a real man, or a husband, because you think interracial dating is perfectly legal. Perfectly legal, perfectly fine. Okay, but if you take a look at this right here, right? It didn't become legal until 1967. Key facts about race and marriage 50 years after Loving versus Virginia. In 1967, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in the Loving versus Virginia case that marriage across racial lines was legal throughout the country. Intermarriage has increased steadily since then. 1 in 6 U.S. newlyweds, 17%, were married to a person of a different race or ethnicity in 2015, a more than five-fold increase from 3% in 1967. Among all married people in 2015, not just those who recently wed, 10% are now intermarried, 11 million in total. Since 1967, a steady rise in intermarriage in the United States. Okay, so that's their, goal is to keep you marrying other races and intermarrying. It's just ridiculous. Why they do that? It's because they want as much sin to happen as possible. They want you to become as ratchet as possible and debaucherous as possible in order for the whole population to decrease to manageable numbers. Okay, so you don't know this because you hate the Bible. No problem. Here are more key findings from Pew Research Center about interracial and interethnic marriage and families on the 50th anniversary of the landmark Supreme Court decision. A growing share of adults say interracial marriage is generally a good thing for American society. Nearly 4 in 10 adults, 39%, say the growing number of people marrying someone of a different race is good for society, up from 24% in 2010. Adults younger than 30, those with at least a bachelor's degree, and those who identify as a Democrat or lean Democrat are especially likely to say this. Now, why do you think that is? Democrat? A Democrat? Americans today also are less likely to oppose a close relative marrying someone of a different race or ethnicity. Now, 10% say they would oppose such a marriage in their family, down from 31% in 2000. The biggest decline has occurred among non-blacks. The biggest decline has occurred among non-blacks. Today, 14% of non-blacks say they would oppose a close relative marrying a black person, down from 63% in 1990. So these people are winning, okay? Even though the majority of marriages, 95% of marriages are same race marriages, you only marrying at the rate of 7%. I just showed you that in the beginning. 7%. No, 0.7%. Good Lord. That means nobody's getting married at all. 2 million marriages out of 300 million people? What the hell? What's going on? Marriage and divorce, patterns by gender, race, and educational attainment. Using data from the National Longitudinal Survey, let me raise this up a little bit. Survey of Youth, 1979. This article examines marriages and divorces of young baby boomers born during the 1957 to 1964 period. The article presents data on marriages and divorces by age, gender, race, and Hispanic origin, as well as by educational attainment. Many changes in the last half century have affected marriage and divorce rates. The rise of the women's liberation movement, the advent of the sexual revolution, and an increase in women's labor force participation altered perceptions of gender roles within marriage during the last 50 years. Cultural norms changed in ways that decreased the aversion to being single and increased the probability of cohabitation. In addition, a decrease in the stigma attached to divorce and the appearance of no-fault divorce laws in many states contributed to an increase in divorce rates. Now, see, you think this is just happenstance to where 99% of people in America are not married, right? But that's not happenstance, it's by design. Okay. And that proves it right there. So I'm reading from, again, Marriage and Divorce Patterns by Gender, Race, and Educational. Okay, the monthly labor review. Using the National Longitudinal Survey of Youth, 1979, a survey of people born during, okay, I just read that. About 85% of the NLSY 79 cohort married by age 46, and among those who married, a sizable fraction, almost 30%, married more than once. The bulk of marriages occurred by age 28, with relatively few marriages taking place at age 35 or older. Approximately 42% of marriages that took place between between ages 15 and 46 ended in divorce by age 46. In the NLSY 79, women in this cohort were more likely to marry and to remarry than were men. That's what women do. You know, they are the ones who remove the stigma of divorce. They rape their men's finances that they built over time and things of that nature. Back in the time where women were not working en masse, where maybe 2% of the women population was working and 98% of the male population was working, men would choose what uh, these women were all broke, so they would choose women based on how they treated the man. Okay, so now that women are equal footing and are, do like 20% of the workforce and 80% of the men are working. So it might be even closer to 40% of women work now. All right. So now the women are not doing the same as men used to do. Okay. Women select men based on their level of success or above their level of success. Okay. So they feel entitled that way. So, which is, partially true, but at the same time, you can find a man very easily. And it should not be at 99% of people not getting married. Okay. In addition, marriages of women were more likely to end in divorce, as were marriages that began at younger ages. On average, women married at younger ages than men. Marriage patterns differed markedly by age at marriage and by educational attainment. College educated men and women married at older ages compared with their counterparts who had fewer years of schooling. About equal proportions of men and women who received a college degree married by age 46. 88% for men and 90% for women. Men and women who did not complete high school were less likely to marry than were men and women with more education. Men who earned a bachelor's degree were more likely to marry than men with less education. The chance of a marriage ending in divorce was lower for people with more education, with over half of marriages of those who did not complete high school having ended in divorce compared with approximately 30% of marriages of college graduates. In their 2007 study, Betsy Stevenson and Justin Wolfers used data from the 2001 Survey of Income and Program Participation to examine marriage and divorce patterns up to age 45 for cohorts born in 1940 to 1945 and 1950 to 1955. A comparison of the two cohorts shows that the likelihood of marriage declined. The average age at first marriage increased by 1 year, and married couples were more likely to divorce in the latter cohort. I want to get to race because the number one reason that you can't find a good man, a real man, or a husband is because you're interracially dating. And don't make me pull up the pictures of the gruesome ways that white men discard of their women. Okay, I don't want to do that to you and ruin your dinner. Okay, sample characteristics of survey respondents. Here we go. All right. Gender, race, and ethnicity. Okay. Trends that merged. Okay. Forgive our children. Let's see. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Marriages with them. All right, so there are quite a few people on this earth that you should definitely stay completely away from at all times, okay? Deuteronomy 7:1. When the Lord your God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, okay? The Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, 7 nations greater than and mightier than you. And when the Lord your God shall deliver them before you, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Your daughter you shall not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto your son. For I will turn away your son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly. So now, since you hate the Bible so much and you just turned the TV off, tell your friend to tell you who Hittites are. Tell your friend to tell you who Girgashites are, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. You don't know. This is why you go around looking for them, trying to marry them, okay? Or trying to have a fuckable session at the mall with them, okay? That's the reason you can't find the top 10 reasons you can't find a good man, a real man, or a husband. So I bid you shalom.